Hello and welcome to another Bazaar video. As you might have been able to tell from the thumbnail and the title, we're doing something a little bit different from our usual guide content today. Tempo Storm graciously provided me with 5 brand new Stelle items to reveal to all of you before her upcoming full release on Wednesday. I won't stall for too long, but I will say that I'm planning to make my usual style of guide content for her pretty much as soon as she's released on Wednesday. So if any of you are interested in seeing that, then please do subscribe to the channel. I would very much love to have you there. But without further ado, I'm gonna start off. I'm sure many of you came here after already having seen the reveal trailer, which I'm recording this ahead of time, but I'm still making the assumption that a lot of this will have already been explained there. But just a quick refresher on the new unique mechanic that's being introduced in Season 5, Flying. An item that is flying has half effectiveness of freeze and slow triggers applied to it. Their duration is halved. And in addition to this, of course, you can imagine there will be various Stelle items or triggers that care about when things start flying or stop flying, or if they are flying or not. Flying is a big part of her kit. But as some of you astute viewers might have been able to pick up based on the subtle hints, my first item to reveal are Stelle's Aviators. They are a 5-second small bronze apparel that shields for 10 and charges when you burn. And of course, I felt like I had to dress the part. I knew what I needed to do as soon as Tempo sent this my way. I had to rock my own aviators, at least for this one time. But similar to mine, the main appeal of Stelle's is quite frankly the style factor rather than the effect itself. But any early small bronze shield item that you can charge, it will still be quite useful as sort of a curve filler or just early defensive option. You can sort of turn your offensive burn into defensive shield by using this item. I don't think anyone has a super hard time imagining the rough outline of how you might use this item, but it is sort of a taste of what's to come with the remaining items. I will also point out it is an apparel, and Gasio will be selling it. It would probably be pretty fun with something like matchboxes on Pygmalion. But moving on, we also have an item that many of you may be familiar with, as it has been in the live client for quite some time. If you happen to go to the Stelle vendor or found it from Pearl or any of the nodes that give a small tool, this is the Blowtorch. It's not particularly different from a matchbox. We're not really breaking revolutionary new ground here. It's a small bronze tool with a 4-second cooldown that burns for 3. However, the things that are worth pointing out is that, as you could see from the Aviators, there will definitely be Stelle items that care about burn triggers, and as Stelle is the mechanic, there will also assuredly be Stelle items that care about things that are tools. But moving on to newer things that you definitely haven't seen before, we have the Solar Drone, which is a small vehicle tech drone with an 8-second cooldown, shields for 10, starts flying when you use it, and whenever you burn, it gains 5 shield for the fight. So this is very similar to the Aviators. It's a way to convert your offensive burn into defensive shielding. I think some of the things that are worth pointing out is that this item, probably the most noteworthy thing about it is its tags. We already know that there are very many powerful synergies with vehicles, and again, Stelle is the mechanic. She does care about not just things being tools, but things being vehicles. It is also a drone, which, you might see a few more of those for her if you keep your eyes open. But as it's still a 8-second non-charging item, I don't think you expect this to be a late game powerhouse. It's just more something you can do in the early game that will definitely benefit from you already having some form of quick rapid-fire burn triggers. But now, as we approach the second half of the items, things start heating up with the smoke detector, a silver small item, which simply reads, when you burn, haste for 1 second. And of course, this is very powerful. It's no secret that within the Bazaar, any item that says when you do X, do Y, tends to be very powerful, as ICD is really the only limit in terms of how quickly you can activate this. This one in particular, since burn is oftentimes a very good trigger to be spamming, we have skills like whenever you use a tool, burn, we have items like blowtorch, and then haste isn't just a generically useful trigger, but it is also something that a lot of other items care about. I'm not going to spoil exactly what Stelle might use it for, but you can surely imagine the type of damage this would do if you manage to get a hold of it on Vanessa and you play it with a trebuchet or an arbalest, you combine it with incendiary rounds. It's definitely the kind of item that I like a lot, where it's clear that it has a lot of potential to make fun and engaging combos. And, of course, it's also the type of item that can have very powerful enchants, as, you know, that tends to be typically the case with whenever you do X do Y type items. And finally, the last item I'll be revealing in this video, we also have the medium gold tool pressure heater, which is a 6-second cooldown item that gives your adjacent burn items an additional 5 burn for the rest of the fight, and that charges whenever you use another tool or vehicle. And I think this is where you can truly see the culmination of what all the previous items have been leading up to. We have seen vehicles that care about burn, we have seen tools that burn themselves, and of course the ability to stack more burn on your burn items when burn in and of itself is a stacking mechanic to begin with. It just tends to be really powerful whenever you manage to leverage it on your board. This isn't really directly comparable to something like Duelist Ignition Core, as right now at least it scales its own burn and oftentimes is used as a kind of solo carry item. But if anyone here has been playing for long enough that you remember when Ignition Core didn't scale itself and only other items, that was still a very powerful playstyle, especially in kind of the mid-game portions of your run, where, you know, any multicast or quick or on-trigger effect item that has burn, if you give it 5, 10, 15 extra burn, it's going to be really powerful. Remains to be seen if, you know, immediately on launch, this is one of the Stelle archetypes that catches on straight away. But at the very least, it is another exciting, interesting item that I think has a lot of potential to cook with, you know? And we do love to see those. So, to sum it up, and apologies for kind of covering the smoke detector here with my face, but I will put this whole image in the description as well, if anyone wants to just grab it from there. This is the items that we revealed: Aviators, Blowtorch, Solar Drone, Smoke Detector, and Pressure Heater. They give you a very clear indication of what Stelle cares about: tools, vehicles, drones, burning, and the ability to charge. So all of that is definitely things that you will be seeing more of and doing more of if you join me in playing her at the launch of Season 5 this Wednesday. But with all that said, thank you very much for watching. As I said at the start, I would love to see some more of you subscribe. We are barely at the cusp of 1,000 subscribers, which would feel like an absolutely amazing milestone to hit. And you can be sure that I'm going to be putting out more Stelle content as soon as we all get our hands on her on live. And in addition to that, I will probably try to stream some of my early games on Stelle at twitch.tv, so you can join me there as well, with the link in the description. But with all that said, thank you for sticking with me until the very end. I hope that wherever you are, you have a wonderful morning, day, evening, or night, and that I'll see you in the next one.